Live from the Richard Harris Law Firm studios.
Right corner inside. Feeds right point. Theodore hesitates. Passing left McNabb. He shoots. Score! Tie game.
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
Cole Smith creates a takeaway. Down back for Smith. Shooting. He scores! Vegas takes the lead.
With Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
The draw, one by Allen to the corner. Lausanne will kill the clock. 2-1-0. 4 wins under John Tortorella in as many games.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Welcome in, Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Ryan Wallace, Darren Millard, Jared Justice, live inside the Richard Harris Law Firm studios. Richard Harris Law Firm, where they've won billions for their clients with their less fee guarantee. Happy game day. How we doing, boys?
Well, we're going to give away some cash today. At least I'm hoping we are. Hockey parlay contest up to $1,200, and it might be one of the last hockey parlay contests of the year. I'm still not sure whether we carry this thing over to the playoffs or we don't, but significant as we do have this opportunity to win $1,200, courtesy of the VGK Insider Show on Paul Padala. You'll hear from John Tortorella ahead of his 5th game as head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. He's already done something nobody else ever did, win his first 4 games behind the bench of the VGK. John Shannon will stop by, our NHL insider from 100% Hockey, the podcast. And Brian McCormack, a voice of the Henderson Silver Knights, coming off a big win for the HSK last night, and will just size up their position going into the final couple of weeks of the American Hockey League schedule, and a big weekend coming up at Lee's Family Forum, both on the ice and off the ice. It's one of my favorite games of the year. It just happens that it's really important, what's going on the ice tonight, but in between periods or during stoppages, it's going to be just a crazy cool atmosphere over at Lee's Family Forum. And we got one-timers, news notes around the National Hockey League ahead of this game by the Vegas Golden Knights. Game 3 of a 4-game road trip, final road trip of the season, trying to keep the good times going against the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, for the Golden Knights, it's been a tremendous start, obviously, to the road trip. You pick up a big win in Edmonton, a really strong defensive performance against the Vancouver Canucks on Tuesday, and now you have an opportunity to win 3 in a row on the road. You have an opportunity to win 5 straight under John Tortorella, and you have an opportunity to get points in 7 straight games. Like, that's where the Golden Knights are right now, and a victory would have them keeping pace with the Edmonton Oilers, who won yesterday and now have a 2-point edge over the Vegas Golden Knights. So keep pace.
Rephrase that. Rephrase what you said about Edmonton winning yesterday.
They won yesterday.
No. Connor McDavid won.
Okay. All right. That's fine. You could say that more often than not on most nights when it comes to Edmonton, especially without Leon Draisaitl. But the Edmonton Oilers, the team that Connor McDavid plays for, and though Connor had 5 points and a hat trick and all those fun things, the Oilers are still the team that beat the San Jose Sharks. They are still 2 points ahead of the Golden Knights. And for Vegas, it's important to keep pace with them if you want to win the division.
It's rare that you see a player just take over a game like Connor McDavid did last night against the San Jose Sharks, and it was a great start to the game. Edmonton got some puck luck going their way, and certainly leaned on Connor McDavid, and then Macklin Celebrini replied, and they're going toe-to-toe for both this season, one-upmanship, but also Macklin Celebrini's first 150 games in the National Hockey League, very similar from a point total to that of what Connor McDavid did. That surprised me, those numbers, and we'll get into that in a little more detail in one-timers. But for Vegas, they come in because of the Oilers putting up the 2 points last night on the back of Connor McDavid's 5-point performance. The Oilers are 2 points ahead of the VGK in the race for first place in the Pacific, and Edmonton is 3 points up on the Anaheim Ducks. So right now, Vegas will try to equal the Oilers at the same time as maintaining their advantage over the Anaheim Ducks, and the Ducks are also in action tonight. So this is a night for the Chasers in the race for first in the Pacific. Edmonton idle with Vegas and Anaheim in action.
It's certainly a big night for both the Golden Knights and the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, Anaheim, They need something to feel good about right now. They've lost 4 in a row, whereas the Golden Knights have won 4 in a row. So it's two teams going in different directions, or at least have been over the course of the last week and a couple of days. So for the Golden Knights, you want to keep it going, and you're hoping that Anaheim doesn't gain traction and halt this skid.
And Vegas is going to face a team that a couple of weeks ago was sort of in the same position as Vegas, different spot in the standings, but they had an opportunity to chase down a playoff spot. Vegas hoping for more, but that was primary job number one, the focus, lock down a playoff spot. Seattle within reach of a playoff spot. They've been hovering around the cut line for a while. And what's happened is Vegas has ripped off those 4 straight wins under John Tortorella, now back challenging for first place in the Pacific Division. And the Seattle Kraken have cratered. Lost 5 in a row, just 1 win in their last 10. There's an organizational change coming. Ron Francis is going to step away. The former general manager gave out that title a couple of years ago. Now he's going to surrender the president of hockey operations position with the Seattle Kraken. So this has not been the return to contention or relevancy for the Seattle Kraken under Lane Lambert, the new head coach this year. So it's amazing what a couple of weeks can do to a team's fortunes. We've seen the resilience and the rebound from Vegas and where they are with their swagger, and the exact opposite for the Seattle Kraken, who Vegas will try to take advantage of tonight.
Yeah, I mean, for the Golden Knights, the response was there from that group, from that team, understanding where they were. And, again, points in 6 straight, 4 straight victories. That's the difference between where the Golden Knights are right now, looking to lock up a playoff spot, looking to win a division title. And, the Seattle Kraken, as you mentioned, 1 win in their last 10 games. They've lost 5 in a row. They have gone in the wrong direction. And, I kept kind of waiting for Seattle. They had hung around. They had, impressed me to that degree through the majority of the season, but I just didn't buy them as a legit threat to make the playoffs. And the last couple of weeks have proven to kind of bear that out.
Yeah, and just look at what Vegas has done. They've been perfect under John Tortorella. But if they're just 2-2 in those 4 games, only acquiring half the points available, much different situation from challenging for first place, being in a position to equal that tonight, to they would be 1 point ahead of Los Angeles for a playoff spot. Yeah. It's a small sample size under John Tortorella, but that coaching bump has been the difference from a very stressful situation to a very hopeful position.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing to point out, because you're right. If you're 500 under John Tortorella, if you don't pick up maybe that victory in Edmonton, if you don't have a strong performance on Tuesday against Vancouver, then you're in a really, really tough fight, and it's very uncomfortable down the stretch. But because the Golden Knights have been able to rattle off 4 straight wins, because they have found something under John Tortorella, they're still not comfortable. You're not going to be comfortable until you have that X by your name, but they are not battling for a playoff spot. They're battling for first place. There's a big difference there.
Aiden Hill is going to get the start in goal tonight. We'll run through some of the lineup decisions that we know about going into the game, but let's start there as John Tortorella spoke to the media today, starting with a Q&A from Ashley Weiss.
Do you like to keep it an open competition till the very end, or do you prefer to have someone in mind as you head into playoffs?
No, we don't have anybody in mind, and if you wanted to call it competition, I call it we have 2 pretty good goalies. The coaching staff has to make decisions on each and every game, who starts. So the way it's gone in the National Hockey League, you need 2 goalies. I remember back in the days, if we're fortunate enough to get in the playoffs and you start playing, you used to go with the 1. You always tried to get that 1 ready for it and ran with them. Nowadays, teams are using 2, sometimes 3 goalies. So I'm not even looking that far. Carter was out. We want to give him a couple of games. Hilly will go tonight, and then we'll make decisions each and every day as the games come at us.
To that point, I guess, how hard is it to take Carter out when he's been playing well for the last 3 starts.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Hilly had a really good game. My first game, he had a really good game, made some really important saves. So we're going to use them both. I know we're getting down to short strokes here as far as the games, but again, we're going to take it one game at a time. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We'll go with Hilly tonight, and we'll see where we go from there.
What do you like about the way that the defensemen have kind of gotten up into play the last little bit? The scoring has gone up from there. You see Hannafin kind of being a little bit more assertive as well. Anderson's getting into the play.
Yeah, Haney's the one that I know a little bit better than the others. I had him in the Four Nations and the Olympics. His legs are so important, and it's one guy that I've kind of pulled aside a couple of times and just reinforced. Use your legs. Use your legs to close people out. Use your legs to get up the ice. We're trying to play a fast game. To play a fast game and a pressure game, you need to do it in 5, so our D are always up the ice. I think it's the proper way to play, or at least the style that we want to play. And I think Haney's bought into it. All our D. I thought Huddy had some really good pinches. Tough one that he's playing on the offside. But yeah, for us to be a pressure team, you need to do it in 5s. Puts a lot more responsibility on the D to get up the ice all the time. Not just joining the rush, but just joining in the forecheck. So we are playing in 5s in the neutral zone.
Torts on that. Was last game your best defensively? It seemed like you talked about pressure closing with support. You seem to have numbers defensively.
Yeah, we outnumbered a lot on Van, and we're trying to pile in, right? If they have 2, we want to have 3. We want to outnumber. So I thought we did a good job of that. I think one of the maybe the little bit of a change we had, if our D has a beat on someone, we're going. And we're not going to fold back under and let the forward get him if he's up higher. If we have a beat on him, we're going. So it just goes into the same type of talking about being instinctive about pressuring all the time, not only in the neutral zone, defensive zone, and our forecheck. I think the simpler it is for the D that all 3 zones were saying the same thing. I think you get that split second more to close. So hopefully we'll continue.
You're saying earlier, Torts, about if you guys make the playoffs, and that's still not guaranteed, I guess. But no. Do you look just at this as a small picture, the best picture at this time of year for you and the group, and put your head down and see where you're.
What's a small picture?
Tonight's game.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I got enough people telling me what's going on, so I really don't want to listen. We get a sheet of paper that shows all throughout the East and the West, the All-Star, the playoff stuff. I don't even want to look at it. I think I finally understand numbers now, numbers to player, and I can put that on my little card instead of the names. I'm just worried about one game, and it's another important game. For me, it's readiness, to be ready to play each game. Each day is a day of work. Just worry about that day, and we'll take the next day as it comes.
When you've made line changes in game and line changes before games, is it all just about the moment, or is some of it for you being a new coach and wanting to see different combinations?
A little bit of both. Early on, a little bit of both. Now I'm very comfortable in where, like when I load it up, I feel comfortable. Howds can play center, and that line has scored a goal. Howds, Barbie, and Dory. When I put Jack, Stoner, and Marner together, and I have in my mind it's a little bit of a cadence for me now. I feel comfortable. I've talked to the players about it. When I do it, are they comfortable with it? So in momentums of games, I may change things, but it's 3 sets. When I load it up or when I switch the centers and the wings. Those are the 3 different type of changes that we make. I think everybody's okay with it. It's easy for me to want to do it. I just don't want to screw up the players. So I've kind of checked in and made sure that I'm not bothering them with their flow of the game. So
the piece through the neutral zone going north has been really quick. Are you happy with the reloads and the back pressure in the neutral zone?
Yeah. For the most part, we have supported the pinches and the tracking, the reloads really well. We're still coaching. We're trying to think so aggressively. I think we've lost our third man a little bit, where he's gotten a little flat, and we've lost that, and given up some odd man rushes along the way. It happens. That's why you have a goalie. He needs to make a save occasionally on those odd man rushes. So I'm trying to coach it very carefully. That third man just need our defense when they're pinching, they need to see that third man starting back. If not, they have to stay out of there. For the most part, he's been there. A couple times in Van, we got a little impatient, lost him, and got flat. But we're not going to be perfect. But for the most part, I think the tracking across the ice and our D seeing them so they can sit right in there and close off zones has been very good.
You've liked Hurdle's line the last few games. You've mentioned how good that's been, but for Tomas in particular, who hasn't scored in a while, do you talk with him a little bit to kind of ease him through maybe this slump?
I haven't. He's made some good plays. Yeah. And that line has given us some good offense. So I haven't talked to Thomas. That's one thing that, for me, with a veteran team, prior to where I've been coaching young teams, I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to. I think it's almost disrespectful to talk to them just for the sake of talking. They know. If I know the players know, I don't need to go there. And as I was just talking to, we was talking with you, that sometimes the coaches need to stay out of the way and not bother them. They know they don't need to hear it from me. Thomas has made some good plays. I got Riley out. I thought he played well. I thought Sauter played well. That line there, it's kind of been switched around a little bit with the switch there, but they've given us some good minutes, and just a matter of time before he bangs one in.
There's John Tortorella ahead of this game against the Seattle Kraken. Looking forward to it. The pregame show coming up on Fox Sports Las Vegas, so with Ryan Wallace. But a couple of things that Torts brought up. One, just piggybacking at the very end there, and Danny Webster's question talking about Tomas Hertl. It has been a minute since he scored. The length is not as important as just feeling good about their game, and they do feel a little bit better about their game on that line, which has been a little fluid lately. Probably one of the more, because the top two lines, they've changed, but they're the same in a way. That third line's got some different parts going in and out, and that's where if you were really going to dig into something that you'd like to tighten up, it'd be getting some actual production out of there. But they're generating plays, they're generating chances, and I have noticed a little bit of uptick in just being involved in Tomas Hertl. Getting the power play really going would make a big difference to his production as well.
Yeah, I agree, and that was an area, admittedly, on Tuesday that I was looking for. A little bit of greediness, right? Like, everything's gone pretty well for the Golden Knights under John Tortorella. I think the one area you might be looking at as just wanting to see it get back to where it was earlier on in the season was that top unit power play and the ability to impact the game the way that it had earlier on in the season. Hertl is a big part of that. I have no doubt that it's coming. So as Hertl gets more and more comfortable just in terms of what he's creating 5-on-5, and you're starting to see the plays that he's making, if he's able to put it together, get a couple of points on the power play, or just a couple of points 5-on-5, that could unlock him in a lot of different ways. So I loved Torts just saying sometimes as a coach you got to get out of the way and let guys work through it. I loved that mindset from Torts specifically regarding Hertl.
And Hertl's gone back-to-back games without a shot. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen. It's the first time all year that he's been without a official shot on goal. He's got attempts, but hasn't put the puck on the net in back-to-back games. This is a guy that generally is 3 or more. It's one of those safe prop bets if you're going to look at it in that direction. 4, 5 shots, 3 shots. He had one game with 9 shots this year. That was his big breakout eruption against the San Jose Sharks. So let's look, if you're tracking the game inside the game tonight, just see whether or not he gets some more production and their aggressiveness in their own zone. Just leaning into the instincts of the defense. If they've got an opportunity, go for it. Jump on the play.
Yeah. No, and I think that's been pretty prevalent for the Golden Knights under Tortorella. They've been able to get out of their own zone with more proficiency. They haven't spent as much time in their own zone as well. And if they're ready and willing and committed to play that way, they're going to put a lot of teams under duress.
Yeah, that's more on the checking side of it instead of just allowing teams to control the outside, which I don't mind that philosophy either. But just up tempo, more read, react, and hop on it. If the player slides up top, the defenseman's got more freedom to track that player, the puck carrier, if they feel like they can make a play on it. We'll get into what's happening around the National Hockey League when we continue. John Shannon, who is in a building tonight, he'll step away from that game and join us on Fox Sports Las Vegas, the VGK Insider Show with Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
Hey there, John Shannon here. You know, Darren Millard and I do 100% hockey 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and believe it or not, we do have fun. And here's what's even more surprising. Our guests have fun. It's hockey. It's fun. You know what? If you listen, you'll have fun too. That's 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon on your favorite podcast platform.
He is 100% of the reason to listen to 100% Hockey. The legend, John Shannon, joins the VGK Insider Show.
Here's John Shannon, who answers all of our left field questions because he's such a dialed-in guy when it comes to the National Hockey League. Why do we have 14 games tonight, 0 games tomorrow, and then 15 games on Saturday?
I have no clue. Well, I know why we actually. That's not true. In order to do what they have to do with the 14 games tonight and the 15 games on Saturday, it made you weren't going to be allowed to do 3 games in 3 days for some teams. So that's just the luck of the draw in order to try to accommodate building availabilities and then network obligations. And so, therefore, Friday night became a dark night.
It just seems odd when we've got all this momentum with the playoff races that there wouldn't be any games.
Well, but the reality is that not every arena is available. You know, there are lots of teams that have NBA teams. You know, there are situations going on with other sports, and it just when you have to accommodate the networks. I believe tonight's an ESPN night in the United States, and then there's going to be games for ABC/ESPN on Saturday, and then Rogers on Saturday in Canada. It's difficult to make sure that there are games every night. It's a fluke. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens tomorrow night.
John Shannon with us on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas, a 14-game night in the National Hockey League in the midst of a playoff push by the Vegas Golden Knights, who are second in the Pacific Division, 2 points back of the Edmonton Oilers, who won last night. What do you make of this battle between the Oilers, Golden Knights, and Anaheim Ducks?
Oh, I think it's going to go down to the last night. I think it's going to be one of those ones where if you can do what, for instance, the Golden Knights have done since John took over and get on a little bit of a heater, you're in a better spot because, let's face it, at least in the first round and preferably in the second round as well, you want home ice advantage. You want that position to, in key games have last change. And have that extra gate at home. So that's the key thing now. The fascination is that if you don't like the way your team's playing, wait 3 days because all of a sudden things will turn around. Look at what's happened since Tortorella took over. Look what's happened in Edmonton. They went and won 5 in a row before the Golden Knights showed up, and then they laid an egg against Vegas, laid an egg against Utah, and then were spectacular last night against San Jose, and we all know the struggles that Anaheim has gone through the last little while. Even though there was a point after the Olympic break, they were one of the hottest teams in the NHL.
Where is your concern level for Anaheim right now? They've lost 4 in a row. They're still in third place, but LA has gained a little bit of traction. Are you concerned about the Ducks?
I think you have to be, Ryan. Mm-hmm. The one thing I would say is. With a team as young as they are, and they've got a couple of injuries. Cutter Gauthier has been out a bit. You have to think that has this young, enthusiastic group blown a tire after having such a successful season? And can the veteran players like Trouba, like Vetrano, like Kreider, and John Carlson, can they drag them into the fight one more time? That's what Pat Verbeek went and got those veterans for, to get them through these rough spots. So we'll have to see what they can do in the last week of the season.
John Shannon with us on the VGK Insider Show. Some news out of Seattle in the last 13 hours. Ron Francis, the president of hockey operations, the first general manager of the team, is going to leave the organization entirely. Sounds like it was mutual based on some of the quotes that I'm seeing. What led to this departure?
I think this was preordained a year ago, Darren. I think when they made the decision to give Jason Botterill the general manager's job, I think that Ron wanted to keep the manager's job, but agreed to stay on for another year as president so as to not create a controversy. So this was just the natural progression for him. On the business side, there has been a reorganization of the Kraken under a new company name that has given a lot more power to Todd Leiweke. Because they're trying now to maneuver to get the NBA franchise in Seattle, and so it would be under one umbrella of a company, and so they're trying to figure it out. Quite frankly, in the end, it looks like Ron Francis has run his course in Seattle, and I'm sure he's disappointed. But what's going to happen? Who knows? Maybe he'll be getting another job. There are general managers' jobs open, and I know that Ron would love to be a general manager again.
Any insight into the openings that are available right now?
Well, not really, because there are dominoes that are going to play. I think that you have to look at New Jersey and wonder if they're going to split the job of president and general manager that Tom Fitzgerald had. Are they going to have a president and then hire a general manager? If they were to hire a president, don't be surprised if we start hearing the name Brendan Shanahan there, a former Devils draft pick way back when, probably before Ryan was born, and then we'll see what happens in the other cities. They apparently they are getting close to naming a general manager in Nashville, and in Toronto, heaven knows what's going on.
You've got more to say on that.
No, I don't, because I'm flummoxed. Every time something happens in Toronto, you're going, why are they doing that? So they're trying to do something, I think, a little outside the box. I think there are lots of people in the hockey community that don't understand that yet. And until it's fully fleshed out, all you're going to be doing is guessing at what's going on in Toronto, and that's probably not the right thing to do.
Do you think they go head first analytics?
Well, the president of the company, Keith Pelley, says that they want to be data-driven. If they do go with an analytically based general manager, I would suspect they wouldn't have that same style of person as the president of the club. I think that's the key, is you got to find a marriage between two people. And all you have to do is look at what Kelly and George have done together. They both have strengths. They are tremendously complementary in their work ethic and their talents, and they get things done in Vegas. And I think that in so many ways, other organizations look at it and say, why can't we do what a McPhee-McCrimmon combination do? And I think people are trying to do that. I think in Toronto, the other element is the distraction of the media, and the public is so demanding of what the Maple Leafs should be that it's making it a little more complex. And I'm not sure that the people inside the company actually know what they want yet. And so they're still trying to have that feeling out process of exactly what they want.
John, you touched on the idea that there's an idea of what the Maple Leafs should be. What are they right now? I know that they're a team that's going to miss the playoffs, and there's uncertainty surrounding Austin Matthews. But you look at Boston; they missed the playoffs, they get right back in. Do you view that in any capacity in the Leafs' future, or is this more of a rebuild type of situation with them?
For me, I would, if they phoned me and asked me to be the president, I would say that the only way I would do that is if we went and tore it down to the studs and rebuilt everything.
Whoa!
And you give us 5 years. Oh well, what? See and that's the problem in Toronto. For every opinion, there's another one that says I'm wrong, and that's exactly what goes on in Toronto. And that's the problem, is that everybody, it's the last man in the room situation, and who has the power. And so I would tear the whole thing down and start from scratch. That's what I would do.
You do love your demos. Go in there with a sledgehammer. It's my favorite part about remodeling, just the demo process.
But here's the thing. I view it in so many ways like what happened in Montreal. That's what they did in Montreal, and look how successful Montreal is going to be for the next 5 to 7 years. And what Montreal did so well is they were transparent, they were honest. They told the fan base, bear with us, but we're going to be really bad for 3 years, and then we're going to come back strong, and that's exactly what's happened. Jeff Gordon.
But Toronto came into this year with thinking they were going to contend for a Stanley Cup.
No, they didn't.
That's quick turnaround.
No. Well, but it's, how many years do you need before you realize it's not going to work? Tell me. Give me the number. Is it 3? Is it 5? Is it 7? Is it 9? This is 9 years now with this group. And by the way, it's not working. It's not working. And now there are casualties in this, and there shouldn't be casualties. So now you have to go and rebuild it, because here's the thing in Toronto: the brand is so strong. The brand and the franchise can afford to take 2 or 3 years to rebuild and become stronger. The goal is not to make the playoffs next year. The goal, as the goal is in Vegas, is to win the Stanley Cup. And right now, the Maple Leafs are in no way in a position to win the Stanley Cup, ever right now. And so let's start from scratch and build the Stanley Cup.
Can I answer your question on how many years?
Yeah.
Okay, 59 is the number that they're dealing with.
Don't we all know it, who we live in Toronto?
In the Western Conference playoff race, just want to get to this. Nashville is wild card 2. That would face Colorado in the first round. Then you've got L.A., San Jose, Winnipeg still thinking that they're in the mix or within reach. Which of those 4 teams, the Predators, Kings, Sharks, and Jets, could actually give Colorado a series in the first round?
Well, I think Nashville could. Because if you look at those teams, I think the combination of what the forwards can do, the veteran forwards can do for Nashville, what UC Soros can do in net, I think Nashville would be a terribly tough opponent for Colorado.
Now, do you view Colorado, even if it was, say, Nashville, as being a team susceptible to an upset in the first round?
I think 16 teams could win. I really think this is a wide open year. I mean, I watched 10 days ago, I watched Winnipeg go in there in a really important game for both teams, and Winnipeg won the game. I think that's really a factor right now. This is wide open. I mean, look at that. Look at Minnesota, Dallas now. It's down to 2 points, and they play tonight. This is a crazy season. You could pick 8 teams to come out of the first round and pick the underdog in every one and potentially be right. That's how crazy it is.
So you're taking the field to win the Stanley Cup this year?
I am taking the field.
Colorado.
I'm taking the field for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Here, because Colorado. Okay, so Colorado's best team. They're going to win the President's Trophy. When's the last time the President's Trophy won the Stanley Cup? Think about it. Not very often. Then the other thing is how they get through the first 2 rounds. Anybody they play in the first round, they're going to be battered and bruised. In the second round, they're going to play Minnesota or Dallas, battered and bruised. By the time they get to the third round, the Pacific Division team might be in better shape. I think it's wide open. And as wide open as we think it is in the West, it's even a wider gap in the East. It's crazy.
Chicago Blackhawks in 2013, last President's Trophy winner to win the Stanley Cup.
It's a long time ago.
Okay, what if I gave you the Central Division versus the field?
No.
You're
For the
still
Stanley
taking the
Cup,
field?
I'm taking the field.
Okay.
I'm taking the field this year.
Okay.
So let me ask you then about Tampa, because, you know, as far as the Eastern Conference goes, pedigree, winning culture, all of those things, like the Tampa Bay Lightning would be the team that is, you know, at least ahead of everyone else that is likely going to get in. Do you view Tampa as the favorite in the East, or is that as wide open as you think the West is?
Tampa may not get out of the first round, Ryan. I mean, you know, Buffalo could beat them if they play Buffalo. Montreal could beat them if they play Montreal. I mean, it's that Atlantic division is nuts. You know, and we haven't even mentioned Carolina. And if Carolina has their goaltending straightened out, they could become the favorite in the East. The playoffs this year are just going to be wide open. The thing about Tampa is they are banged up a lot. Victor Hedman still isn't playing. We don't know when he's coming back. So there are a lot, and they've actually done a very good job without Hedman since the Olympic break. But they're not the perfect team either. And let's face it, John Cooper has changed the MO of his club because they thought they'd have to beat the Florida Panthers and be tougher. And now they're not even the toughest team in their own division because I think Buffalo's tougher.
I'm not sure I'm there with you on that, but I've been impressed with the Sabres pushback. Are you saying Buffalo's tougher just because you're at KeyBank Center right now?
No, I'm not, but I would love to be able to take credit for that. But no, I actually think they got tougher when they went and traded for two guys from Winnipeg that are big and rough. So that Lindy Ruff can actually put two types of lineups on the ice. If you want to play fast against the Sabres, he can put a fast lineup in. If you want to play tough against them, he can put a tough lineup. I think that's what makes the Sabres so imposing.
You're watching Columbus against Buffalo tonight. Before we go, what do you think of this rapid scramble to get into the playoffs for the Blue Jackets?
Well, you know, they still have to have other people help them, but you know, it was one of the best stories for the first 6 weeks that Rick Bowness was the coach there, and they've kind of leveled off. The other night in Detroit, it was sink or swim, and they went to the last 20 seconds before they forced overtime and then won in a shootout. So it's what the fascination for me in the East. I guess it's the same in the West. The fascination is that there are going to be teams that you think you enjoy watching play that are going to miss the playoffs. You know, if Columbus makes it, that means Detroit didn't. If Detroit makes it, Columbus did it, and maybe Ottawa didn't. You know, the two best stories, in my mind, the two best stories in the East are the Ottawa Senators, where I think Travis Green has probably put 36 defensemen on the ice this year with all the injuries they've had.
Not at one time, did he?
Well, then that'd be too many men on the ice, but the referees would miss it. Don't worry. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry. And then Pittsburgh. I mean, we don't talk about Pittsburgh very much right now because they are fully ensconced in second in that Metro division and have been a really good story. So there's some fascinating things that are going to come out of the regular season and into the playoffs, and I think it speaks to how great the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to be.
Fun stuff, John. When you go to a game, like you're at KeyBank tonight, do you just walk in and people know it's John Shannon, or do you have to actually get a press pass, a media pass?
I'm polite. I do request a press pass, and then I never show it.
But you could just walk in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I could, but I don't because that would be disrespectful to the system.
So do you wear it around your neck, like with a little elastic wrapper?
Not a chance. Are you kidding? I've been to 9 Olympics and never worn the accreditation on my lanyard ever. I go to the security. I dare you to take it off me. I dare you.
I've seen coaches coach in the Olympics with their accreditation around their neck because it's so tight. And you're just not John Shannon.
Not a chance am I wearing a thing around my neck.
I was sending you a text today, and I was typing it, and I went to type Shanny, and I typed Shaggy. I typed Shaggy, and I thought, wouldn't that be a good nickname for him? Shaggy Shannon.
No, it wouldn't be. All I know is that every time I see Brendan Shanahan and somebody yells Shanny, and they talk to me, Brendan gets mad. He says, "You're not Shanny. I'm Shanny." So
that tracks.
True.
That tracks.
Yeah,
we
hey, by the way, I got to say hello to my pal George McPhee. Hope they have a good game in Seattle tonight.
You are great to us, so we really do appreciate it. Watching that hockey game at the same time as you check in with the Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show. Really appreciate it, pal.
Cheers.
There's John Shannon, co-host of 100% Hockey, the podcast. Tell you about tomorrow's episode. It's a really cool one. Get to know Scott Oak. Details on that as we roll on. But right now, let's take a caller for the Hockey Parlay Contest. 702-876-1340. We'll give you 3 games. If you're the correct caller, you could win $1,200.
Yeah, we'll take caller number 12. Caller number 12, 702-876-1340.
Big money up for grabs. Stay with us on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Great guests, great conversation. That's 100% Hockey with Darren Millard and John Shannon. Hey, that's me. 100% Hockey, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube.
A little more aggression, I guess, would be the only big change I think I've noticed is we've gotten a little bit more stay on top of people. Our D are holding in, and even in the D zone, I think he wants our D, if you're locked onto somebody, to stay on them, whereas I think in the past we've kind of laid off and stayed home at the net front. That's maybe the only adjustment is to try and get the puck back a little bit quicker.
You're listening to the VGK Insider Show.
Couple of words and thoughts from the captain, Mark Stone, taking on the Seattle Kraken tonight. It's the stretch drive, and this starts Fan Appreciation Week around the Golden Knights and the Silver Knights. Explain some of the activations that are happening in just a little bit, but first it's time for the Paul Padala Hockey Parlay Contest. We give you 3 games. The contestant picks the right winners of all 3 games. You win that week's jackpot. It grows by $100. Every week there's not a winner. We're up to 1,200 big ones. Let's get into it, Ryan.
All right, Joey, I know we got you on the line. I've got to ask you a couple of questions, so just confirm yes or no. Are you 21 years of age or older, have a valid Nevada driver's license, or a government-issued photo ID card and a valid Social Security number?
Yes, I am.
All right,
We're
well
off
done.
to a flying start. Yeah, it's good. Let's start with Jared. What's your game, Justice?
Mine is the Edmonton Oilers versus the Los Angeles Kings.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Oilers, unfortunately.
All right. If it gets you $1,200, might be able to look past it.
Yeah.
Ryan.
All right, Joey, I've got the Vancouver Canucks at the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, I'm taking the Sharks.
Sharks to beat Vancouver. All right. And I have Ottawa at the Islanders. 2 teams fighting out to get into the Eastern Conference playoff picture.
Yeah, this is a close one, but give me Pete DeBoer and the Islanders.
Pete DeBoer is making his debut tonight behind the Islanders bench. They're up 2-1 right now. So you've got the Islanders to get by Ottawa Senators. Do you want to?
Yes.
I'll give you an opportunity. You picked the Oilers to beat the Kings, Sharks to get by Vancouver, and the New York Islanders to upend Ottawa Senators. Do you want to rethink any of those and switch them up?
No, lock me in.
Lock them in. All right. What would you do with $1,200 on Sunday?
Probably go to, I don't know, the club.
Attaboy. I love that answer, Joey.
That's amazing.
I'm living through you right now.
Yeah.
Outside of bucking up for some golf at maybe Pebble Beach or Shadow or something like that, I am all in on the club. Good luck, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being a listener to the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas. The VGK Insider Show putting $1,200 up for grabs if the Oilers defeat the Kings, Sharks beat the Vancouver Canucks, and the Islanders get by Ottawa. Joey is going to be $1,200 richer, and it's all going down at the club for a fun night out.
He better invite us.
Well, I'm there anyway. I'll just meet him there.
What club?
Oh.
What's your go-to?
The country?
Well, I like Gillies, too. Yeah.
I meant okay.
The country club is what he meant.
Oh, the country club. Yeah, I'm over there during the day, and then I hit the clubs at night. I'm not a day club guy because I'm on the golf course, but I do hit it and nail it on the strip. Hockey song. I own that place. They walk in, Mallard, regular booth. Yep, let's go. I'm big on the barbershop too. Like that is top 3. Hour number 2 is coming up on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Seriously, the house band at the barbershop is amazing.
Picked up in deep by Davies and from Romberg. Down low, score. Braden Bowman at the top of the blue paint on a setup from Jonas Romberg. Points in 3 straight for Bowman since his return to Henderson. And the Silver Knights have a 2-0 lead.
Time now to saddle up with the HSK. Our weekly check-in with the Henderson Silver Knights.
Didn't have a show yesterday, so wanted to circle back with Brian McCormack, the voice of the Henderson Silver Knights, who played last night and pulled off a big victory over a team that they're battling for playoff position against in the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Here is BMAC with us. So let's start with the most recent game and then work our way back to some of the results over the last week. Last night was another one of those big tests, important game, really influential in the standings, and the team responded.
Yeah, it's the beat goes on. It's 6-0-1 in the last 7 now. How far do you want to go back? 18-3-3 since the All-Star break. Silver Knights just keep that mentality of we play today, we win today. And last night was interesting because, as you mentioned, the implications, the Pacific Division standings are just so condensed. But last night is the same thing we can say about San Jose this weekend, which is the same thing we can say about Bakersfield on Tuesday, which is to say all these teams are within, between 1 and 5 points of each other. Every game has the potential to be a first-round preview. But last night, the Silver Knights played a Coachella team that, the Firebirds are without some of their big guns. Their top 2 scorers are out injured. They were missing some guys last night, but they'd still won 11 of 13. And the Silver Knights, for their sake, they had they had pretty much everyone in the lineup with the exception of Lucas Cormier. But they have a little bit of an illness bug going through the locker room, so they had to overcome that. So it led to a really gritty, find a way to get it done kind of night. And the Silver Knights get another sparkling show from Carl Lindbaum. They get 2 more goals from Braden Bowman with an empty netter, and find a way to get a tough win on the road.
So what's it mean to the standings in this playoff race and the battle for home ice?
Yeah, so right now the Silver Knights are third. They are tied with Coachella with 83 points, but they have the tiebreaker with regulation wins. So Silver Knights are third, but Coachella is fourth and right there. San Jose, who's in town for 2 this weekend, they're 1 point back of the 2 of them. So 3, 4, and 5 are all right on top of each other. And, of course, in the setup of this first round in the Pacific Division, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th seeds get home ice. So the Silver Knights now, have home ice. They have destiny in their own hands, if you want to put it that way. If they can put up a strong showing these last 5 games of the season, they're still, I think they're 9 points back of second place Colorado. So it's mathematically doable, but not very likely. But if you told the Silver Knights a month and a half ago when they were in 8th that 3rd place was within reach, I think nobody would have believed that. So they've done as much climbing as can possibly be done. Now it's just a matter of trying to finish it off and put themselves in position for home ice in round 1.
Talk about the Vegas Golden Knights and their game against the Seattle Kraken in just a little bit, but right now we're chatting with Brian McCormack, the voice of the Henderson Silver Knights, who are up to 3rd in the Pacific Division, right?
Brian, I wanted to ask you about Braden Bowman, who's got 4 goals and 7 points in the 3 games since rejoining the Silver Knights. When you start to think about Bowman and the offense that he can bring, how much he learned being in the National Hockey League this year, how much more dangerous does Braden Bowman make this club?
Yeah, you know what's funny, Ryan, is we kind of talked about it when he went up to the VGK and he had that instant success, and he had such a down to earth personality that I think the way I phrase it to you guys is someone every now and then probably has to tap him on the shoulder and remind him how good he is. He's so unassuming in that way, and to say that he's come back to Henderson, and I mean, I'd like to say that you can see the impact of roughly 5 months of NHL hockey and how it's transformed him as a player. But frankly, he looks just as good as he did when he left. Just where he stacks up as an AHL player is just as a strong player who knows where to be and has a tremendous shot. So he looks, as silly as it sounds, he looks exactly the same as when he left, which is to say that he looks like an all-star when he left in early November. But he gets to the front. He has a very good savvy of finding that soft space in the weeds around the net front. I mean, 2 of the goals that he scored, I mean, the most dramatic of which was the game winner Saturday to clinch a playoff spot where, he had a shot that was blocked, went wide of the net, it caromed off the end boards, and Matthias Sapovov just flipped it back in front, and there's Braden Bowman 3 feet above the blue paint, and he's completely uncovered. Last night in Coachella, he's at the top of the blue paint. Jonas Rondbjerg zips it down low, and again, one of the most dangerous guys on the ice is 3 feet from the goal line, completely uncovered. So he has an excellent knack for finding those soft spots, but he can also beat you from 30 feet away with a clean wrister. So he's just a tremendous player, and for the Silver Knights, you look at the trade deadline and how that can impact AHL teams depending on what their NHL affiliate does, and what deals might be made that draw prospects into the package. I mean, the Silver Knights did say goodbye to a couple of players in the deals that the VGK made, but by the end of the deadline, this is a Silver Knights team that has Braden Bowman, Jonas Rondbjerg, and Alexander Holtz. If anything, this group got bolstered heading into the playoff chase, and as you mentioned, for Bowman, it's 7 points in 9 periods. And Jonas Rondbjerg has a couple of points, too. I mean, it's just been exactly what you would want, introducing those guys into your top 6.
He joins us every week on the VGK Insider Show. Brian McCormack is with us talking the Henderson Silver Knights, and they're trying to hold off Coachella, San Jose, and Bakersfield for that third position in the Pacific Division. Teams have different personalities. Some are just steely-eyed. They grit their teeth, and they never take the intensity foot off the pedal. Others are more easygoing. What's the personality of this HSK group?
Yeah, there's definitely confidence. There's no way you have points in 21 out of 24 and don't at some point start to believe that you're good, and not arrogantly, but again, this is a Silver Knights team. For anyone who wasn't keeping track, in order to clinch a playoff spot last weekend, they needed to win both games against Tucson in regulation. They were tied in the last minute on Friday and got a goal with 23 seconds left and won in regulation on Friday. Saturday, they were down by 2. They were down by 1 with 90 seconds left. They needed 2 goals in 90 seconds to win in regulation to clinch, and they got 2 goals in 90 seconds. So this is a team that very much believes that eventually the opportunity to win the game is going to present itself to them. You just got to take advantage of it when it comes. So there's definitely a little bit of swagger there that's developed over time. But at the same time, there's been a couple of games where there's been a little feistiness like you would expect as the playoffs approach. If any team wants to drop the gloves and get rough and tumble, Joe Fleming and Riley McKay and Mitch McLean are plenty happy to oblige. But this hasn't been a team that's been, in my mind, a Broad Street bully type. That's not what they are. They score a ton of goals. They get great goaltending, and I think there's just I really think it is. They're going to play fast. They're going to play with the puck. They're going to assert themselves and make you defend them. So often you hear teams say, we want to play our game, and it just sounds like a cliche. Well, for the Silver Knights, it's we're going to play fast, and we're going to force you to play fast with us. And that's whether it's off the rush, the offense they're getting, Tanner Lazinski, Raphael Lavoie, Trevor Connolly having phenomenal second halves, or if it's a matter of just the pinching that they do from the points. Teams can't break out cleanly. You get a pass on the half wall, you're below the hash marks. You think you might have a heartbeat to look up and make a decision? No, there's a defenseman going 15 feet down the wall who's right in your face immediately. They play fast, they play aggressive, and they dare you to keep up with them. And I think that's the swagger that comes. It's not nasty. It's not bravado. It's not in your face. It's we're good. We feel good. We're going to have fun. You're welcome to come along for the ride.
Brian, we always ask you about players, like individual players, and certainly when the team is on this big of a heater, you look at individual players and the success that they're having, and it's good to kind of point that out. But I wanted to ask you about Ryan Craig, just in terms of his growth as a head coach. Like, have you noticed it in any specific way through this stretch, through this run for the Silver Knights, just instilling that belief in his team that there's going to be a moment, there's going to be an opportunity inside of a game for his team to win?
Tremendously so, and I think it started last year. Last year, it was game 36 of 72, and the Silver Knights got their doors blown off in Coachella Valley. It was game 36 or game 37. It was right at that midway point. And I think the team got a stern talking to between periods, and from that point on, they were in fourth place. They were a fourth-place team. They played at a fourth-place rate the rest of the season. It was too late in the season to matter, but that's when the turn happened. This season, they played well throughout. It just took until really the All-Star break before they had everyone at their disposal. Lucas Cormier was injured for a month, Raphael Lavoie for 2 months, Carl Lindbaum missed a month, and various combinations of Dylan Coghlan and Jacob Megda called up at various times, and of course Braden Bowman right out of the gate went up. So it took a while for the Silver Knights to get everybody, but once they were healthy, this is what we've seen from the group, is what they're doing right now. But as a guy who does some public relations work, I think we can all say that you talk to players and you talk about players learning how to do interviews and how to handle questions and things like that. And it's not like the conversations you have with them, you necessarily hear that when you do the interviews later. Guys have minds of their own. They say the same thing. They say what's on their mind, which is to say, when you hear Ryan Craig in his interviews using certain terminology, and then you interview the next 9 guys and you hear the exact same terminology, that's not because they're trained parrots. It's because they actually believe this. It's because they're actually bought into this. And this is a Silver Knights team that is so bought into the message and so bought into the mentality of how they have to play to have success. And you can just see it. The Silver Knights, I have not seen a game in the last 20 where the Silver Knights looked discombobulated. There are some nights where you don't have your best, or you're not razor sharp, and you just try to find a way and manage, and the Silver Knights have done that. But there's never a day when they're scrambling around, panicked, under duress, trying to figure out how to rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. You never see that. You do see opponents who are sharp, strong, puck-moving teams who can't get out of their own end. This is a Silver Knights team that is very well connected. They're very well aware of what their systems are. Every player is in a role that allows them to do what they do well and grow and get better. And there are players who have taken phenomenal leaps in the last month and a half. And it's because this roster, which right now has 27 bodies on it, is very, very connected and on the same page with what needs to be done. And that is absolutely the work of Ryan Craig and his staff.
Got a couple of minutes left. What kind of hold, if you were going to put it in wrestling terms, would the HSK have on home ice right now, given that tomorrow night is wrestling night?
Yeah, that's a good point. With my limited wrestling knowledge, I'd say they've got a pretty decent wrist lock. Oh. It's not a submission hold. They've got an advantage. They've got teams on the ropes and uncomfortable. But if some guy sneaks up behind you with a chair, there's nothing, you're not prepared for that. So there's still work to do. Still got to be looking over your shoulder. And again, I think for the Silver Knights, what's great is, this is such a compressed division. We're not going to know who the first round opponent is probably until game 72 or the night after that. But right now, home ice is the factor that you'd like to lock down. Otherwise, I think the Silver Knights are going to go into round one, in all likelihood, having seen their opponent in the prior week. So it's a good audition. It's a good dry run for sure. And it's a good chance for the Silver Knights to set the tone before these games get ratcheted up a little bit in a couple of weeks.
And you'll have live wrestling in the building tomorrow night?
We will have live wrestling, and I'll learn more holds I know wrist lock and I know sleeper hold, and that's
the arm
far
bar.
too.
The arm bar is a good one.
That's true. I really need more wrestling vernacular. We did a wrestling video for HSK a couple years back, and we made up a bunch of wrestling moves for that. But the ones that actually exist, I need to be better versed on. But yes, for Friday night, it is wrestling night presented by Sunshine Minting. We're going to have guests from the future stars of wrestling are going to be in the building, and there will be live wrestling on the arena concourse during the first and second intermissions. So there'll be some fun wrestling-themed entertainment throughout the building during the game that Chandler Blanchard's team is putting together, but for real, literal wrestling, that will be taking place during the intermissions.
It's such a fun night. I can't wait to see it again. Thanks for this. Appreciate it, and good luck this weekend as you continue the trek towards securing a home ice spot.
Appreciate that, guys. And I'll tell you what, we're on TV tomorrow night on Vegas 34, Spot Vegas 34. So Darren Elliott and I will be on the call. Usually during the intermission, there's a segment where one of us gets to step away for a few minutes. If I can work my way into the ring, I will take any recommendations, any requests prior to the game that I can try to. If they'll let me in at all, I'll try to pull whatever comes to your guys' imagination.
I'd love for you to put Elliott into the claw.
We're not both going to get in there.
No. Put him in a sharpshooter. Get a figure four going. Do something like that, or like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Claw's an easy one that you can do on camera. So go.
Darren Elliott has the new hip. I think he's going to have to hand me the chair from the side. I don't think I can get him in there.
Tombstone pile driver.
The doctor
That's
was
not
very
dangerous at all.
The doctor was very, very clear. No active wrestling for 3 to 6 weeks after the procedure.
Have fun, pal. We'll be watching over on Scripps Sports.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
There's Brian McCormack, our favorite. We've got the word of the day coming up. I'll let you pick today. I've been kind of hogging the spotlight on tossing out what our words of the day should be.
Okay, well, Fox Sports Las Vegas wants you to hit the jackpot for the code word of the day. You could win $2,026 by listening in for that daily code word and texting it to 702-876-1340. If I get to pick, understanding that there used to be a wrestling show on Thursday nights with a particular wrestling company, I'm going to go Thunder. Thunder. Thunder is the code word of the day. Text Thunder to 702-876-1340, and you could hit the jackpot thanks to Lotus Broadcasting, Paul Padala, and Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Squeeze in some sound from Seattle. The Golden Knights taking on the Kraken tonight. It's also Masters Week, so we got one eye on that for golf fans. Here's Mark Stone.
Hoping you can give us some background into the Masters draft that took place.
Yeah, well, you guys, it's nice when you're on the road, I guess, for these types of things. And with a day off, we had a pretty easy schedule. Usually it's a bit of a gong show trying to get everyone together when you're at home on those days off. So it gave us something to do yesterday during the afternoon, which was fun. So it'll be fun to follow.
How's your team looking?
They didn't have a great start, but I think they started to battle back pretty nicely over the last little bit here.
Who's most likely to win in the room, do you think?
God. I actually don't even know who has who, but first pick was Scheffler, so I'm assuming the first team's probably got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, who do you have winning?
Scotty Scheffler.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah,
you're a big golf guy, so what do you like about the start of the Masters?
This is such a fun event to watch. It means so much to the players. It's such a unique tournament in their sport. With whether it's the Masters dinner, getting to play, being a life. If you win it, you get to play it basically until they kick you out. So it's a pretty unique tournament. So and it kind of kicks off the big golf stretch throughout this time.
That also means that playoffs are right around the corner. What do you like about what your group's done these last stretch of games that you can carry into hopefully the postseason?
Yeah, we're playing pretty well. We're not giving up. We're not giving up a ton. I think we've spent some more time in the offensive zone. Obviously, we haven't capitalized quite yet on all our scoring chances, but it's coming. We're getting looks, and that's all you can ask for. I think this time of year is to be playing good defensive hockey. Scoring is going to come.
What's it feel like on the ice when he loads up you, Jack, Mitch, all on the same line?
It's different. I mean, obviously you there's only one puck out there, so somebody's got to get selfish and start shooting the puck, which I think we have done when we had those shifts together. I think sometimes it doesn't work long term because guys like to feel the puck, especially your top guys. So and Mitch and Jack, who love to possess the puck, are playing together for a long period of time, and you're not feeling it as much. So, but when you do it for those short bursts, it can give you a little juice.
Where do you feel, Stoney, that Tort's coming in? What has the biggest impact been as you now 4-0 so far so good? What have you noticed the most?
A little more aggression, I guess, would be the only big change I've noticed is we've gotten a little bit more stay on top of people. Our D are holding in, and even in the D zone, I think he wants our D, if you're locked onto somebody, to stay on them. Whereas I think in the past we've kind of laid off and stayed home at the net front. That's maybe the only adjustment is to try and get the puck back a little bit quicker.
Mindset he's talked about a lot. Do you notice that too in terms of, is that what you're talking about with the aggression?
Maybe, yeah. We just, it was a bit of a reset for us. We were, I guess, a little stale, right? We weren't getting over the top, I guess. And we're playing some good hockey, actually, in the last 3-4 weeks. It's just we didn't have that extra juice, the extra little thing, and maybe that, like you said, could be just a little added aggression to, they're keeping a puck alive or they're playing in somebody's face in the D zone. Sometimes that can help.
There's the captain, Vegas Golden Knights trying to make it 5 straight wins. Jared, question: was that you putting the Masters music in the background, or was maybe the telecast on in the room, and that's what I was hearing in the background?
Yeah, I tried to clean that up. There was no music. I was trying to. I in fact went out of my way to remove the players in the background going.
So it was just the background. The TV's on. The guys love their golf. Sam Burns, Rory McIlroy, right now 5 under par through the opening round. McIlroy, the defending Masters champion, trying to go back to back, and that doesn't happen very often. Do you guys have your master pool?
No.
No?
I grew up poor. I do not know anything about golf. I don't know how to express this any clearer.
Well, there's lots of big names. I think 16 guys broke par on the opening day, but lots of big names still in it. Pretty good opening round for the guys that went there looking to win the tournament are still within reach. Let's take a break. We've got news and notes from around the National Hockey League with one-timers as we continue on game day for the Vegas Golden Knights, hooking up with the Seattle Kraken on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Carlson left corner, centered, one-timer, score!
It's time for One-Timers. A quick look at news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Before we dig in, we've got some tickets to go see the Desert Dogs play.
Yeah, if you want to go see the Las Vegas Desert Dogs on April 18th for Fan Appreciation Night at Lee's Family Forum, be caller number 5, 702-876-1340. Caller number 5, you're a winner.
We are starting Golden Knights Fan Appreciation Week. This is the lead up going out to it, so a lot happening. Leading up to the final games of the regular season. And it does start tonight, the Golden Knights against Kraken, a watch party over at Boulder Station. And also there's a skate and watch party here at City National Arena. Among the things to look forward to on Saturday, there's a City of Henderson watch party at America First Center for the Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche, and the Silver Knights take on the San Jose Barracuda. And on Monday, the Golden Knights take on the Winnipeg Jets. Mental Health Appreciation Night, a Mental Health Night presented by Zooks there. And on Tuesday, the Silver Knights take on the Bakersfield Condors. That is HSK Fan Appreciation Night. And on Wednesday, VGK Fan Appreciation Night, the final game of the season for the Golden Knights. It's the jerseys off our back. So follow the VGK and HSK social media channels for more on Fan Appreciation Week. Let's get into the clinching scenarios for tonight and what has to happen for teams to lock down playoff positioning or a playoff berth. In the Eastern Conference, Pittsburgh Penguins will clinch a playoff spot if they get by the New Jersey Devils in any fashion. There's a couple of other scenarios that also could play out. The Boston Bruins, not playing tonight, will clinch a playoff berth if the Maple Leafs beat the Islanders in regulation, and they need more, and Philadelphia Flyers beat the Detroit Red Wings in regulation. So a couple of different situations that would have to come together for the Boston Bruins to be able to clinch. In the West, the Colorado Avalanche will secure the President's Trophy for first overall in the regular season if they beat the Calgary Flames in any fashion, or if they get a point against the Flames and the Blackhawks beat the Carolina Hurricanes in any fashion, or if the Blackhawks just beat the Hurricanes in regulation. The Edmonton Oilers idle tonight. Again, Anaheim and Vegas both in action tonight in that race for the Pacific. Vegas is 2 points back of Edmonton. They can get into a first-place tie with a win against the Seattle Kraken. Anaheim can get back within a point of the Edmonton Oilers if they win. So the Oilers will clinch a playoff berth if the Anaheim Ducks beat the San Jose Sharks in any fashion. Interesting. Anaheim would like more separation from the Ducks, but they could also use their help tonight if they beat the San Jose Sharks. So the Edmonton Oilers will also clinch a playoff berth if the Utah Mammoth beat the Nashville Predators in regulation time, and any result in the Winnipeg Jets Blues or the Winnipeg St. Louis Blues game other than the Jets winning in regulation. So a few different scenarios to play out, but clinching situations, Pittsburgh could get in tonight, the Boston Bruins could get in tonight, Colorado could win the President's Trophy, and the Oilers can clinch a playoff spot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to kind of pull the positive out of that as a Golden Knights fan, you look at the Edmonton Oilers. They are just 2 points up on the Vegas Golden Knights right now. If Edmonton were to clinch a spot idle, that would, give you a pretty good idea of where the Golden Knights need to be in terms of what their magic number is. Obviously, 2 more points in the bank for Vegas after today. If they can beat Seattle, would push them ever so closer. And we might be looking at a clinching scenario for the Golden Knights on Saturday if they take care of business tonight.
The epic season of Matthew Schaefer continues. A defenseman, first overall pick last year, scored his 23rd tonight for the New York Islanders. They have a 4-2 lead on the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Islanders right now are on the outside looking in the Eastern Conference in that playoff picture. 89 points, 3 back of the Ottawa Senators, who are also on the ice tonight. But the Islanders haven't played in a couple of days. So much so that they made a coaching change with 4 games to go. Pete DeBoer taking over. He's had 3 practices with the New York Islanders, and tonight is his debut behind the bench of New York, and they need a surge. 4 games remaining for the New York Islanders. Big game for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are knocking on the door of a playoff position in the Eastern Conference. They are 2 points back of the Ottawa Senators entering action tonight. The Blue Jackets trailing the Buffalo Sabres 1-0 as they play in the second period of that one. Big one for the Atlantic Division in the fight for top spot. Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens tangling tonight. Montreal is 2 points back. Well, they're both 2 points back of the Buffalo Sabres for first place. So both teams desperate for a victory in this one. And for the Tampa Bay Lightning, they trail 1-0 against the Montreal Canadiens. Cole Caulfield, significant here. 50th goal of the season for Cole Caulfield. So a celebration. What a moment that would be in Montreal tonight at Bell Center. And Ottawa trying to hold off everybody for that final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference in the wild card position. Have a 2-0 lead over the Florida Panthers. Zetterlund and Batherson have scored for the Ottawa Senators. So that is the update. One final one that does have some significant implications. Detroit Red Wings have really been going in a bad way lately. Philadelphia Flyers have got themselves into consideration. Philadelphia Flyers occupying the final playoff spot in the Metropolitan Division right now. They're also tied for the final wild card spot in the East with the Ottawa Senators. But Detroit and Philadelphia tangling right now. Detroit is 3 points out of a playoff position, so a little more desperation on the Flyers side of it, the Red Wings side of it, and that's showing through. A 4-2 Detroit midway through that game tonight of big one for both the Flyers and the Red Wings, but Detroit almost has to have this game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Detroit Red Wings are kind of at a point where they've got to win out, right? Like, I think that's where Detroit is. That's where the Islanders are, though. For the Islanders, there's a bit of a clearer path if Philadelphia falters to get third place in the Metropolitan Division. Same thing with Columbus. So, like, there are certainly teams that are below the playoff cut line that are still in play and believe. But I think what you're looking for, and if you're one of those teams below, Columbus, Detroit, the New York Islanders, you want to win. Your remaining 4 games. You want to do everything in your power, and I think that's the only way to ensure that you give yourself a real shot at it.
Penguins have a 3-2 lead on the Devils right now after 2. Late goal by Jack Hughes, getting the Devils within 1. That game's interesting because it's Stuart Skinner in goal for the Penguins tonight. He's back. His first game since taking a puck to the face the other night on the bench. It ricocheted around and got him right in the near the eye. So he had a significant black eye the other night, and it was kind of got people off guard because there was a bunch of fake pictures out about it that looked really bad. Fortunately, it wasn't as nasty as some people made it believe. But Stuart Skinner took a puck to the face on the bench as the backup the other night, but he's back in. Winnipeg Jets. This is a desperate time for the Winnipeg Jets, trying to get themselves into a playoff spot, which hasn't been the case for a long time for the Winnipeg Jets, into an actual playoff position in the Western Conference. They have a lead right now, but they're 4 points back of the Nashville Predators going into tonight. The good thing is they do own, well, it's now gone 1-1 against the St. Louis Blues, so that's in the first period, but the Jets look like they're just going to start a power play. They need something to go their way in significant fashion tonight to try to keep themselves going. And other games, Colorado against the Blackhawks, Flames against the Avalanche, Avalanche trying to lock down first overall, and the Wild against the Stars. That's tightened up, a 2-3 matchup in the Central Division. Just 2 points separating them.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is for Dallas, like, home ice advantage is not locked up, right? Like, that's kind of the reality of the situation. Now, they do own the tiebreaker over Minnesota, so if they end up with the same amount of points at the end of the year, the Dallas Stars will get home ice advantage. But given that this is the only playoff matchup we know is going to happen, this is the first one locked in. It will be Dallas and Minnesota in the first round. There's still a lot to play for between the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild with 4 games to go, home ice being the main thing.
It's still to come. The 2 wildcard teams in the West are facing off tonight. Utah, wildcard 1. They would face the winner of the Pacific Division in the first round, and the Predators right now, wildcard 2. That would match up against the Colorado Avalanche. They will face each other in Salt Lake City. The Sharks against the Ducks. Sharks need this one. They've got a game in hand on everybody. Got to pick up a win here to get back in it. And the Ducks just trying to stop the bleeding right now. Big one in Southern California tonight. Vegas Golden Knights, against the Seattle Kraken, and the Los Angeles Kings will host the Vancouver Canucks. So you've got to think in that whole race for the final playoff spot. Predators up against a team that's trying to clinch the playoff berth. The Ducks against a desperate Sharks team tonight. Sharks take on a Ducks team that's can come up with some good stuff. The Kings have an opportunity against the worst team in the National Hockey League to gain some ground in the standings and that race for the final playoff spot in the West. Entering tonight, Nashville owns that second wildcard spot with 84 points. The Kings are 1 point back with a game in hand, and the San Jose Sharks are 3 points out with a game in hand on the Nashville Predators, and the Jets are 4 points back. They need some significant help with 5 games remaining.
So I asked John Shannon, I'll ask you about the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, listen, they have hit a skid. There's no doubt about it. They've also
lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, they've also had tremendous success and bounce back ability when they've hit a skid this year. They've been able to respond and win 3-4 in a row. Like, they've got 4 games left. Are you concerned about Anaheim, like, in their ability to make the playoffs?
No, not to get into the playoffs.
No, okay.
Because they've got what, a 4-point lead on the Los Angeles Kings.
But I mean, if Anaheim loses, if Anaheim loses and LA wins today, that's a 2-point cushion, right?
It's 4 points away. But the bottom line is you're going to the final week with a 4-point lead. You should be able to protect a 4-point lead. I don't think the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know what the mathematical odds would be. That percentage of making the playoffs that they offer up. Those can sometimes be misleading based on games in hand and also where you are during your stretch. You won a bunch, you lost a bunch, but they've got one of the best coaches ever in the NHL. They're a young team that's been available to these wild swings in performance throughout the year. This is just another one of them. But I would be highly surprised if the Anaheim Ducks didn't make the playoffs. So where they end up, I don't know. But this is a year where you wanted to take that next step. And this is so beneficial to the Ducks, what they're going through right now.
Sure.
In the pressure of a playoff push, you're on the right side of it with a little bit of a cushion. But see how certain guys react and going through it for the first time with people like Mason McTavish or Leo Carlson, some of these young players that are going to be leaned on in the next decade with the Anaheim Ducks to try to go deeper in the playoffs. This little bump in the road is something that I think that Joel Quenneville and his coaching staff can use to their advantage, just to reveal some of the reactions by players, how they play in delicate and challenging positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's all new for them, right? And I agree with you in the sense that, you're getting to see how the players are going to react down the stretch. You get to see how they're going to be able to kind of approach a situation where, it hasn't gone great the last little bit, but they're still in control of their own destiny. And then, should Anaheim or when Anaheim gets into the playoffs, you're going to get that first bit of information on some of those young players. How do they handle a postseason? How do they handle a playoff matchup? How do they handle certain situations? So you're learning about this young core that, in Anaheim, you believe is going to, be around and in the postseason and a contender to some degree for the next 5 to 7 years. So it's your first bit of real information in these pressure-packed moments down the stretch as to how they're going to perform.
Yeah, they're all the same. They're a little different. In these teams that are challenging for a playoff spot, like Winnipeg's a veteran group and having an off year. But do you want to play them in the first round, given that they would be with basically house money? They wouldn't have that pressure that they've had the last number of years to win a first round. That would concern me, being the opposition there. San Jose and Anaheim are very similar. Young groups. San Jose maybe a little ahead of schedule compared to Anaheim, who were expected to be in the playoff mix this year. But going through this for the first time in those respective groups, and they can both score a ton, but structure and just experience not on their side. Los Angeles Kings a little bit more experience, definitely more structured with how they play the game. A team that really did expect to be in a playoff position this year, but they're having to fight their way and claw their way to get in. I worry about them being able to score enough. That's loosened up since the coaching state change. They're finding a way to win. That would be, I think, a little more challenging because of the structure that they play with compared to Anaheim and the San Jose Sharks. The Predators, you've seen this team be able to go out on rippers the last couple of years. They're an experienced team with stars. Can put the puck in that with really good high-end players up front on defense and certainly in goal. What would they be able to do without pressure on them? And the Utah Mammoth, I think, fall under the same umbrella as an Anaheim or a San Jose, but with a little more structure to their game. Not as loosey-goosey, not as dependent on offense. More of a lunch bucket type of mentality. They do have players that can certainly bring skill to the table and be able to lock it in, but I just see them as more of a challenge based on their structure compared to the likes of the Anaheim Ducks or the San Jose Sharks. So a little bit different, but a lot of similarities through those 5 teams that are all 6 teams that are all in the mix in the Western Conference. Kraken, I think, are all but out of it. They've got 10 points available. They're 9 points out. They would. I don't think it's possible. I know mathematically it says they are, but based on who plays who, I don't think it's possible for the Kraken to make up 9 points on the Nashville Predators without somebody else being able to jump in. So they're out. Just mathematically, that equation hasn't jumped through, and I don't like the St. Louis Blues' chances either. They're both in spoiler mode right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Seattle's all but out, and we'll see kind of how things shake out at the end of this game between the Kraken and the Golden Knights. But I think LA, Nashville. I'm still kind of holding out hope for Winnipeg to go and maybe run the table, but I don't know if running the table will be enough just based on LA, Nashville, the teams in front of them. But I don't view St. Louis or Seattle as legitimate players here down the stretch in the final week.
St. Louis takes on Winnipeg tonight. That would be just a blow. Death knell almost to the Winnipeg Jets' playoff hopes, and Seattle can play spoiler against Vegas. Vegas looking for their first win of the year against the Kraken, who might be just feeling a little sad going into this game, knowing that things have fallen out of reach, and Vegas trying to take advantage of that because they are on an upbeat. Interestingly, they scored so many goals, Vegas did, in the first 3 games under John Tortorella, and then they got by and won the game against the Vancouver Canucks, all on the defensive side. So we've seen a little bit of range in the Vegas Golden Knights under John Tortorella. We'll be back to wrap things up as we continue on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
That was One-Timers. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
I just want us to be hard, and I want us to be fast.
He wants RD.
I'm on fire over here, lads. Come on, I need some back and forth. Come on, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? Now make it quick. Make it funny.
We're down to the wire. It's the last minute of play.
HSK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Wrapping up the show. Darren Millard, Ryan Wallace, Jared Justice. I think Jared's still back there. I never know when Jared jumps out because we've got this frantic flip over from the Insider Show to the pregame show, and it's different operators. Does Jared take off before our show to make it more seamless, or does he stick it out right to the end?
No, he's there until the end, and just the 3 or 4 other people that come into the studio every day around 5 o'clock are in there and then trickling out as we get closer to the pregame show.
It's 2 to 4. It's not, it's not 3 or 4. It's 2 to 4. Come on.
2 to 4 people.
Yeah.
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 But they're always in at like 5 o'clock.
Sometimes around 4:30.
It's the same people, though.
Actually, sometimes we get a variety.
Well, how many? How much of a variety?
All right, fair enough. It's normally whoever's running the Golden Knights game. It's
because they're working, so they should be there.
One of the wonderful producers who I'm in charge of, and
who have a show on at the same time, but for some reason spend more time in our control room.
Right, but again, that's because I'm their direct supervisor. Okay. So,
but they're on the air, so that's one person that we can weed out.
2 other people who are also on the air at the same time as we are.
Like, what happens on their shows, on their stations, when they're in with you? Does it ever go straight to dead air?
Normally, if they're coming to talk to me and their show is still on the air, it means that something has gone wrong, and that's when you get that lovely text.
Well, there's somebody in there every day, so that means that a lot of things are going wrong.
Well, no, because one of the guys that's in there every day, his show ends at 5.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
We expect him at 5:05, and he doesn't disappoint.
No, but he has nothing going on in his life. Zero.
Oh, that's
not true.
Darren, that's
too
mean.
Because you no. Hear me out here. You think that they would wrap things up and get out of the office, like most people at the end of the day. He comes in and chats with you, and then chats with us, and then chats with you, and chats with us over headset every day. There's nothing going on there.
Okay, but I will say in his defense, and as many of our listeners know, we went through a change in our podcast procedure, and the new podcasting procedure, there's about a 30-minute sit on your hands period where it's trying to process. So you can't leave until it's up, but there's
you can't
nothing.
do anything.
Yeah, there's nothing
So
you
there's
can do.
nothing. So really, he has utilized the sit on your hands and wait period as a come in and talk to Jared and the VGK Insider Show.
No, it's another example of people with nothing to do believe everybody else has nothing to do.
No, he has something to do. He has something to do. He just has to wait for it to happen.
I know, but then he treats Jared like he's got nothing to do. But Jared's working, man. This is a non-award winning show. Like, we got to keep this thing going.
Non-award winning, tremendous.
What is that wrong?
No, I mean,
like, have we ever nominated ourselves for any awards?
I was gonna do it this year because I think I did a bang up job.
Yeah, you should.
What award would we win?
Marconi.
Is that the Emmy version of radio?
It is.
You get a trophy?
I want to win one.
What kind of trophy? Is it a nice trophy?
I mean, I assume you get a trophy. Otherwise, it's a placard.
Oh, I don't need a plaque. I want something I can hang my keys on.
Wow.
Hey, keys need a place, too. Vegas, Seattle. Halfway through the road trip, it's the home stretch here. Game 3 of the 4-game journey. Pre-game shows coming up next on Fox Sports Las Vegas.